What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Criplin, professional shark, out here to try to give us some extra tips on how to do some sea monster hunting. Deceiver's doing a good job of giving us the basics and stuff like that. I know some people were struggling with some of the specifics, so I'm going to try to get us a little detail, some commentary while I hunt, and see if you guys can hopefully pick up anything that helps. So, the first thing, there's a couple things to talk about in this video, actually. I'm going to talk about the route that you take to get out to the Candis that I got from Deceiver and Neo when I started. Clicks has a different route if you'd like to ask him about his. And yeah, I'm going to talk about how to autopath, more or less autopath your boat effectively. I'm also going to show us the mechanics of charging and how to like quick cancel charge so you can do more damage more quickly, which is the whole point, right? And what else? And then I'm going to hunt a couple Candis. We're going to talk about the animations that they do and how you can, do your best in whatever situation comes up. So the first thing I want to talk about is, as I said, we're going to talk about moving your boat or autopathing, quote unquote, your boat. For this, you need a keyboard with a number pad on the right side and has a numlock key up there, right? And what this is so I'm setting my forward and my shift keys to number pad keys. Now, real quick, the difference. If I press T, that's cool. I start going, right? And I'm going to autopath. But like I said, like your horse, it's going to go, only so fast. So what I'm aiming to do here is go to my settings. I'm going to go to my interface. I have gamepad on. So by the way, if you don't have gamepad on already, you want to use this if you're using a gamepad. Anyway, so back here to keyboard. I want to have my move forward key, which used to be W and shift, right? I want my move forward key to be something on my keypad. It can be whatever I want, right? But I choose 5 myself. And also my sprint key's got to be something else on my keypad, so I'm going to make it number 3, right? I'm going to apply those changes, and then I'm going to exit out. So it might be a little confusing up in the upper right here with the, with the showing of what keys I'm pressing, but here's what happens. So I hold 5, I hold 3, it gets me going forward, and then I press the numlock key once, and I let go of everything. So see how it's got like my forward and my shift key up there is kind of like stuck on. It's because my numlock key is on, but I'm literally not touching the keyboard right now. So here's what's happening. The route that we take is straight southeast from Port Ratt. And what I do is I line the left side of my boat up with the right side of this mountain right here, and I just shoot out. There are some other indicators I'll talk about here in a second, but this is kind of the direction I start going. But you can see I'm going southeast on my map up in the upper right there. And I'm just letting this go. And if you want to set a timer, you can do this, so you can walk away from your computer or whatever. If you do not have Instant Excel on your boat, like I do not, it takes 10 minutes to get there. So I set like a 9-minute timer and come back. But if you have Instant Excel, it takes shorter. I'm not sure how long. I don't have it myself. So I'm going to kind of speed up this video until I get to the Candis, and we will talk about some more. Also good to know that while your boat is pathing this way, if you do anything, like basically you can't touch it. If you press like inventory, it'll stop it. Anything that makes your cursor come out, right? It'll stop it. If you press control, it'll stop it. If you press the map, for real quick, it won't stop it, but if you keep it for too long, it'll stop it. And then you have to come back in and you have to turn off the numlock. So you have to hold 5-3, turn off the numlock. There we go. And then you have to hold 5-3 and turn it back on. You can see right now I'm coming up on 9 sharks. And also like these little fucking whatever pirate boats. One cannon pirate boats. None of this stuff is aggro when you run up to it. I know that guy kind of looked like he was coming after me. It's not aggro until you actually hit it, so it's all good. Right after you get past these guys though, it's gonna show on your map that you're entering Margoria in the upper right. Once you get there is when the candy should start. Alright, so I'm going southeast. Still got all these things in front of me. I'm about to come up on Margoria. By the way, real quick, before I get into Margoria, you can still see yourself on the map. So if you want a reference, there's Vel, there's Ratt. You're right about here, still moving southeast. And once you hit Margoria, you're just going to go south till you find one. Alright, want to talk about a couple things quickly. Before I do that, let me get my full screen going like I'm supposed to for maximum FPS because you want to be able to camera lock. So you're going to have a center. For me, my center, like a vertical center right here, which means like my cursor is right to the right of my boat. Depending on where your cursor is on your settings, it may be different. But here's my center, right? And so I'm turning and it slipped right there. So I'm turning on my center. I can slam the joystick right and left. We'll talk about how that varies in a little bit. But I'm just holding it right, holding it right. Eventually it's probably going to slip on something. And yeah, and what I want to do is I want to bring it back to my center and then continue the same direction I was going. So let it slip again. Some days it slips way easier than others and there's really no rhyme or reason for it. Alright, so it slipped right there. What I want to do is I was turning right, and see how slow I'm turning? I was turning right. I want to snap it back to center and continue turning right. That's really all it is when it comes to camera locking and if it slips. Like I said, some days it just is messed up and it'll slip way easier than others. You can restart your computer and the same thing will happen. And then 2 hours later you can slip easily. And then 2 hours later you'll be able to slam joystick all the way to the side and it won't barely slip at all. Who really knows? We don't know why it's the game we play. Good old BDO, right? Seconds. Let's talk about charging. So there's a place in your at the end of your charge where your camera lock will always get lost. You will always slip with your camera. And I'll explain this again in a little bit, but basically when you're doing damage, you do 9 ticks of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9 in rhythm. And on 10, you're not actually doing a tick of damage right there, but that's when the camera lock slips if you are turning your boat, right? So what you want to try to do on 10 is you want to let go of all joysticks right before 10 and then continue. So like I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let go of everything and then start moving again. So I'm going to show you with this Candi here now. First thing I'm going to show you is what I call a long charge. And this means that like I'm right here and I'm not hitting him though. And then it starts doing damage. When I say a long charge, you just tap it once, and it just, it propels you forward for 3 or 4 seconds without doing damage, and then it starts doing the 9 ticks of damage, right? So what I can do is I can actually cancel it a little bit early to start doing damage earlier. So remember it wasn't doing damage before, but if I press it again, it starts doing damage. The quickest way to pull these off is to just hold down like all the way, because as soon as it's done charging, it's going to charge away again if I'm holding it down, and then as soon as it's ready to quick cancel into the charge damage, it does it there again, right? Charge, quick damage. You'll notice, it's like you can't cancel it right away, but you can cancel it earlier. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, and on 10 it slips. You see that? So here's what I want to do for that. So if I want to let go of all joysticks, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let go, and then press them all and keep going so you don't lose your lock and have to snap back to it. That's really useful for if you're trying to turn away from a Candi, because I'll get to it in a second, but you want to get the Candi directly behind your boat, but you also want to get your charge damage off. So sometimes you'll be trying to turn away from him on 10, and while you're still turning away, you don't want to lose your camera lock. It's like the worst time almost to do it. So on 10, you want to just stop real quick and then continue going. So 9, 10, not, 8, 9, 10, let go, go. Let go of all joysticks and then go again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so take 2. Number 1 is daylight outside, so that's dope. But number 2, the audio, the sound effects was over. The volume was higher than my voice, so had to redo it. So a couple things. Ignore where I'm at in terms of like which direction I'm going. The route remains the same. Hit 1 Candi, go southeast until you do 4, and then switch channels, come back. So kind of ignore where I'm at for now. Also, the other mobs that we came across the pirate boat I tried to kill and the small ocean stalkers, like they have smaller hitboxes, so that maybe explains why I wasn't hitting them very well. And also something to keep in mind if you decide to go after them. It's really up to you. So, for those of you who don't know, your boat's only going to show up on the character that you pulled it out of the wharf manager on. So I call it your main Sea Monster Hunter. You'll only see your boat on your main Sea Monster Hunter. On your alt, you're not going to see it, so don't panic. So you log into your main. If you're in the water, it's especially useful if you have weight. Hit this little mount or the anchor icon up here. It'll throw you on your boat. Click it again. It'll put you on it, get you in control of it. Oh, fun times. Let's character select to get out of this again. And so what you're aiming to do is get 3 charges off each time that the Candi goes underwater. So what I mean by that, Candi may come up on my left side, let's say, right? I'm gonna want to turn directly away from it. So I'm at a 90 degree angle to the right, so it's directly behind me. At this point, it makes a number of splashing sounds. But if it's right next to your boat and it makes a splashing sound, it's probably because it's going underwater. So I either splash, charge, go straight for a second, flip back around. Thanks, lightning bolt. And if I do it right, I should avoid all the damage that he does during his animation of splashing, and I should also be able to get off the last 3 or 4 ticks of the long charge. You do a long charge because it helps you avoid the damage, and also you can get some little extra damage at the end. That's why the long charge is the opener. But right after I finish that long charge and get those ticks of damage off on him, I'm going to try to get 2 more full charges in, and I'm going to make them quick charges so I get as much damage as I can in. So let's do this. Did my human hunt elixir. About to pop it. Supposedly this helps against Candis for damage. Never really tested it. They're hella cheap. So let's call it tinfoil. I guess I'd rather be safe than sorry for that low of a cost, I guess. So he starts thrashing around, throwing a fit. Comes up on my left. Splash. Boost away. Flip around. The camera is slipping pretty hard. Still got close enough to it, luckily, but at that point I'm just holding charge down. 8, 9, that's charge 2. This is charge 3. I got 7 off there. Alright, turn around, charge 1 is the long charge. Now I'm just holding it for charge 2 and 3. Charge 1. Still holding it down for charge 2. Still holding it down for charge 3. You saw me swing out and swing back in early. It's because I didn't want to overshoot my hitbox to get in front of him. Because that would have been wasted time. I would have been doing damage to him. But I want to do damage to him on the first if I can. Or the second. That was charge 1. Charge 2 is the quick charge. Charge 3 is another quick charge. 6, 7, 8. I may turn back on the 8th hit right there just to make sure I'm facing away by the time it goes underwater. That's good practice to do. Once you get used to it, you'll probably be able to pull off a 9th. Again. It's an abnormal animation. I'm going to cover that a little later in the video, so technically he should dive right there, but sometimes this will happen. It's really good, you can get off a lot of damage. Notice right there. I'll talk about it next first charge. Okay, coming up on the left. I'm going to turn right to get away from him. And I'm going to turn left the opposite way to come back in. The reason I'm doing that is to keep him within his zone, right? So he can reset. If he resets, not a huge deal. He doesn't reset his health. But he does. Oh, he came back early right there, right? So instead of going third one, I'm going to go back to first. But I go back the opposite way that I came out on because it keeps him inside of his zone. The reset isn't going to reset his health, but it is going to like make him invincible for like 30 to 45 seconds while he slowly makes his way back to his original spawn point. And it's just like waste some time, so if you can avoid it, it's nice. Also, like after you end your first charge and you go into your second one, he starts turning away from you a little bit every time. I'll show you right now. So he's going to turn to his left a little bit because that's away from me. So I can kind of aim the direction that he might be going just to line it up. Now his health is getting a little bit low. 6, 7, 8. If this was my first Candi, it's a good time to pop a loot scroll. You can like get a little bit of extra time on it by waiting till the end. And when you kill the Candi, you want to kill it on, you want your main guy, you want him to have 5 luck, you want to have the loot scroll popped on him. Because even if you pick that up on your ult, you know, the loot table drops from the guy you kill it with, not the person you pick it up on. So as long as you kill it on a guy with 5 luck and a loot scroll, then your ult will pick it up as if, you know, at the best possible point. See, I had pets out already right there, but yeah, what you want to do is you want to, you know, quick go to character select. I'll just kind of play it out as if it was still happening. Quick go to character select, and then pull out your pet as soon as you can, so that it can go grab the stuff, because that corpse is going to decay. Now, speaking of that, you know, you come in here, say you've already done a couple, you've already picked up a couple, you know, candies worth of items on your ult, and then say your ult's at like, I don't know, say up here it's, you know, 140% when you log it in. I mean, your approximate max weight is like 160%. So what you want to do, like if it's getting 140, here's what might happen. You might roll up and you might pick up like the regular Candidum shells, but you might not have enough space to pick up the Candidums, and you may have to like delete some Candidums out of here to make room. Or worst case, like, and this has happened to me once, so do not make my mistake, is there was a steal on it, and I panicked. I was like, I don't know how many Candidums to drop, and anyway, so it just wasn't happening, and I lost the steal because the corpse disappeared. So you want to be quick about getting your ult in there. You want to make sure that you keep track of how much weight it has, so that you don't, or be prepared in case that does happen. So that's it for this video. Back to the original. I'm going to go through another one real quick, and I'm going to talk about a couple animations that could happen. They happen rarely, so I may not catch it in this video. But I will at least explain what it is. You guys already saw the one where they come back early. Like, usually I can get off 2 full charges before they turn back around. You'll just kind of have to watch them to see if they turn back around on the second charge. Then you just want to be prepared for that and don't go into your third one. Otherwise you will get stuck and they will hit you, which isn't a big deal if you know, don't get hit too often. You're pretty much never gonna not get hit on a full run. That's just kind of how it goes. So I'm on the route right here. I got to my first Candi. I'm just gonna follow this southeast, right? I'm just gonna go directly southeast. Every like 10 seconds or so, I'm gonna take a look around, see if I can see something. as you guys noticed before, that line of 9 sharks and stuff, and the boats, they're out that way, and they pretty much go from my left to my right. So if you ever like are going southeast and you see a bunch of stuff you're not trying to see, like the 9 sharks or those boats, just head out west so that you get back towards where the Candis are. And then once you get, you should hopefully see one. But once you go out for a little bit, you should go southeast. For instance, right now I think I messed up my routine, and I think I'm not supposed to see that boat out there. So I'm gonna head west to see if I can find one. Alright, cool. Yeah, see, I went out west and found one, right? And then once you find one, you're gonna go back straight southeast. There's 4 Candis, but let me stop here. I'll just talk about the route. There's 4 Candis. If I hit the right direction in the first place, I'm gonna hit a Candi, and there should be 3 more after that. So a total of 4 in a direction. That's hard. In a direction southeast from the first one. So there should be 4 total. That should take you about 4 minutes apiece. It should take you more than 15 minutes. So by the time you get to the end of the 4th one, you should be able to server change and just go back northwest, right? Rinse and repeat as often as you need to. I actually only need to do about 7 or 8 Candis on mine. I have 1 max weight character, and my alt over there, she doesn't have a ton of weight, other than like the trader's clothes and stuff like that. So rinse and repeat as many times as you need to, but for most people, you probably will only need to do 1 route back and forth. But if you have max characters, you may need to do another channel change, go back southeast to finish it all up. So coming back to this, I'm pressing forward and what is it? Your jump button. That's once you hit apprentice 1, I think. You get that? That's from a standstill. You press forward, jump, it'll just do a short boost for you. Alright, so dude's going underwater. Now, regular charge, flip around. Alright, now sometimes right here, he might just keep going. Oh wow, he's doing it right now too. Okay, so he just keeps going forward. Right? He should be turning around right there. So in that case, if he does that, I just do another charge, but I don't early cancel it, and it'll do that to him. Now, since he shot out a little bit too far that way, he just went farther than expected, he's getting farther outside of his zone, right? So next time, instead of turning back the same way I turned out, I'm going to actually just turn it all the way around in 360. So right now he's doing that. Usually I'll come back left, but this time I'm actually going to go all the way out right. Come back around. Just now I'll hit the front of him. He still goes directly away from me too, so I just keep facing that way. So that's the 2 things to cover pretty much right there. Sometimes they'll just keep on going out after your 3rd charge. And, oh, sometimes right here, perfect. If you get him like this, where he just kind of dives under the, or goes to dive under the water but doesn't, if you keep on holding charge, like after he does that all the way through, like look at that. I've just been holding charge the whole time and he just did it again. So it's like a timing thing. If you get him to do that, just keep on holding charge. Eventually he's probably going to break himself out of this animation. I've only gotten him to do that maximum like 5-6 times in a row. But yeah, if you get the right timing, you can just keep on holding charge down and he should stay stuck like that for a while. Get a lot of damage off real quick. With, obviously no risk to yourself because it's not doing any attacks. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to cut some stuff into this video, add it, to help to explain to anybody anymore. But that's about a wrap.